Hi everyone. Over the past number of years we've seen the immigration disaster unfold in Ireland and get worse and worse and being forced down on working class communities in terms of who benefits. Always the very rich, the big commercial property owners, the big employers at the expense of the working class communities most of all who are impacted by this. And we've always seen the political establishment say there's no veto on any accommodation in their communities. Now this is important because we've seen the classism at display in terms of response by the political establishment to ordinary working class people all around Ireland saying no because of the lack of basic services in working class communities, people struggling with unaffordable accommodation, with homelessness, with overcrowded conditions, not to mention the health disaster, lack of GPs, lack of proper dignified existence for ordinary people, on top of the cost of living disaster when more and more people are being forced into poverty, homelessness and inequalities deepening in Irish society. Currently, 2 billionaires in Ireland have the same wealth as the bottom 50% of the population. Think about that for a couple of minutes. That's absolutely just remarkable when you consider how more and more people are struggling. But yet, the very rich in society have a veto on what happens in their communities. Now, such is a place here, formerly known as Saks Hotel, which is the Hampton Court Hotel, out here on Moorhampton Road in Dublin 4. Now, this was earmarked for international protection for up to 200 to 300 people. But in the last couple of weeks, the owners of this site have been informed by the Department of Integration that this won't be going ahead because they, for whatever reason. And the reason is because of the pressure coming on from the lobbying from the very rich and wealthy in this area. Moorhampton Road houses will go from probably €2.5 million plus at very least. And you have areas around here which are quite top of the tree in terms of many people in society who are doing quite well from what's going on in Irish society. But again, there is a veto for people in the affluent and better off areas. And this has been remarked, for instance, by the lobbying that's taken place by members of the community. Over 1,000 leaflets were printed to say that areas such as Donnybrook have been left behind because of lack of services, because a number of pubs have been closed down. In the last few years, I agree, pubs have closed down in Donnybrook, but there's no lack of access to better services for a vast majority of people who live on Moorhampton Road and the very rich areas of Dublin. But of course there is a veto for what happens in their community, and they won't be smeared or called names because that's part of the establishment and that's how they operate. Many are working in the very affluent circles and the circles of the establishment, and absolutely they don't want it in their area. So when this hotel was sold for 13 million plus over 2 years ago, it was earmarked for that, but now it's not because there is a veto for the better off areas. It's plain and obvious to see there is classism at play, and it's ordinary working class people who pick up the tab every single day of the week to what's going on in society. And of course, the immigrants are just pawns in this game, benefiting the very rich in society, the big employers, and many in this area benefit from having immigration and cheap labour. But put them in working class areas because who cares? Areas, for instance, that have been left behind for years and years and years, rural and urban, left behind because of lack of basic services and left behind because of deep inequality, while so much power and prestige lies in areas like Moorhampton Road, who go about their business and don't want this to happen, for instance, on their doorstep and deal with this, the fallout of the immigration chaos. And of course, the government TDs are here. Jim O'Callaghan, the Minister for Justice, James Geoghegan from Fine Gael, and of course we have Ivana Bacik, who set up a group called D4 and D6 for all. Whatever that means. But we know we see the inequality in society. Of course, they're just doing the work for the political establishment and the big employers to keep to work at the behest of the very rich in society, while ordinary people are the ones that suffer and struggle to get by day to day. So thanks for the support. Blatant classism in Irish society is alive and well, and the sooner or more people wake up to what's going on, the better. So thanks for the support, and please press subscribe to my channel. Take care. Slán. Bye bye.